It's like doing a normal show, but not at all.
We are in a glorified, tent. It's a glorified tent in the middle of a car park.
My limo's in the garage.
We have the added challenges of it being partly exposed to the elements.
The blacks all flap up, and we've had to black out everything because you couldn't light it well enough because the sun is coming through the whole time.
And the temperature drops, and the wind's blowing, or the rain's coming through the back.
And you get the odd siren and sounds of football supporters or traffic.
And everyone's got wet feet, or they can't get to the dressing rooms because it's all flooded.
And we've had to work out how we make this work with rain, with boiling hot sun when you're basically in a greenhouse.
So that's part of the fun, because something will always come up which will need dealt with. But I mean, look what we've created though, it's amazing. In a car park in Cowcaddens.
Sir David wanted to create a production that was extravagant and beautiful and a love letter to theatre. And you can see, there's this intricate set in a sort of barn structure, I suppose, that's based on the Globe in London, based on Shakespeare's Globe, with sliders that open and an enormous tree that comes out for when we're in Windsor Park. There are multiple costume changes. I think there are 48 costume changes through the whole piece. And we've got children, we've got chorus, we've got actors. So it's been one heck of a ride. But what has been created, I think, is the best of what opera can offer and is the perfect thing to welcome us back to the theatre.
So here we are on our set. This is backstage, ready to go. As you can see, this is Falstaff's bed, which at the start of the show houses more than just Falstaff. I'm not going to say any more than that, but it's more than just Falstaff. This production has transferred it from sort of medieval period to early Jacobean, but Falstaff is very definitely a man of the previous era, and he's utterly penniless. He's spent all his money on wine and women and comes up with a plan to seduce a couple of wealthy women in the hope that the risk of shame from their husbands will lead them to give him lots of money so he can live in the manner to which he's become accustomed.
Alice Ford is the wife of a very rich man. She gets sent a letter by a philanderer called Falstaff, who basically wants to have an affair with her. And so she decides to teach both him a lesson, but also her husband a lesson, who is extremely jealous and who is wants to marry off their daughter to someone completely unsuitable.
And as you can see in the wing space, we have some areas for quick change. You can see the costume pans and the stores. All the props set ready to go. It's a bit different to a normal theatre in that we have no masked off wing space. So it's a bit of a squeeze, particularly with social distancing rules, which everyone is very good at observing. There's bottles and bottles of hand sanitizer everywhere. Everyone has hand sanitizer, so you see everyone doing this as we move around.
I think this opera often maxes on the comedy when you see productions, and not so much on the importance of the stakes. The stakes are very high for the women. It does have something interesting to say about how men treat women and how women view men. So yes, it's very topical. It's very 21st century, even though we're in Jacobean dress.
There's a basket, the laundry basket, which plays quite an important role later on, as you can see. Full of dirty laundry. Marvellous. You'll see me getting chucked out of that later. Staircases going up and down. We even have a trap door. I'm not quite sure if there's anything in the trap door at the moment.
Oh.
Yes, as you can see, we have a problem with vermin here. Thank you very much. Off you go. It's great for me in this that my son Fergus is playing Robin the page boy.
I'm sort of like a servant to Falstaff, and he's like my father figure. That's how I'm playing it. I get to run all over the place basically, and there's a pastry at some point I eat. My character's an alcoholic, so I get some lovely watered down grape juice, which is fantastic.
The remnants of the party at Dr. Caius's house that Falstaff and Bardolph and Pistol have stolen and brought back to the Garter. So here we are. This very traditional style of Elizabethan and Jacobean theatre. This is a very commanding position. This is, again, a lovely favourite position to sing because you have the acoustic effect from the beam, but also a commanding view of the auditorium. all of the chorus parts. Obviously there's not quite enough space to fit the full cast and actors and a 24 voice chorus on stage and still be socially distanced. So chorus take part from either sides, and that's the stage.
So we have a whole number of items here. We have our lovely witchy mask, which has got some wonderful, crazy Boris Johnson hair going on. We have this lovely peg, which we've all taken a go at wearing, we love. Krampus and our Goblin Child, probably two of my favourites. It's funny, I mean, I've worked with David McVicar about 3 times now, and 2 times previously was in a directorial capacity. And this is the first time I've worked with him as a designer. When you build a show for David McVicar, I think I always say, oh, you have to treat every prop as if it's a piece of art. But I feel like every prop we've made at some point, when we finished it, I've been like, this is my favourite prop we've ever made. And that has certainly happened with the masks.
You also designed all of our costumes. It's lovely that that thread of thought is not just about how we move around the stage and how we interact, but how we look as well individually, what colours suit us, what he wanted our costumes to say. I think the wardrobe department have just excelled themselves. They've worked really hard on the detail of the period. It's a real treat to wear something so beautiful and so beautifully crafted, and not just the women, but the men as well look spectacular. So it's lovely for us.
Welcome to my palatial dressing room. So here we have the fat suit. Brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The spectacularly made fat suit and delightful woolly socks. So as you can see, see how it is designed to hang off the fat suit. And ready for my entrance, Mr. DeMille.
It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of pre-preparation. I mean, obviously as managers, you all have to be able to read music, so you know the score inside out. And then we work from day one in the rehearsal room, so as the production's created, we learn where the entrances, where the exits of all the cast are, what props they require, what they take on, and all this is noted down. And so by the time we get to this stage, we do know it inside out.
Good, Darren.
It's utterly delightful. I'm not just saying it, I really do mean it.
It's been a really beautiful thing to be part of, to see that teamwork, to see people having to work together.
It's exceptional that Scottish Opera have done this in this space and created something so beautiful and so meaningful.
Saturday night when we opened, that feeling of having an audience again was just like nothing else.
I definitely had a little teary moment during Act 3, just thinking how special and truly beautiful and what feels like a great artistic achievement.
So it's why we do it. The audience is why we do it. Camera and film and this work for television like we've been doing is lovely and a wonderful way to connect to audiences when we couldn't be making live work. But having an audience in on Saturday night, goodness, there's nothing like it.